I think an important element to keep in mind when you are watching or listening someone give a testimony on how they reached so and so milestone or overcome this goal or overcome this obstacle or made $10 million in their first year or how many businesses it took to finally make a successful one is that I feel like a lot of times when they're explaining how and what actions they took to reach those goals, that they sort of miss what they actually did and just kind of explain actions that they took that have already set them up to succeed from previous actions and sort of lose their understanding on what actually got them there in the first place. I guess it's more of the fact that they explain what actions they're taking now to continue their success and not really the thing that got them started and pushed them over the edge. And that's why I kind of want to explain how I sort of got out of my ADHD rut now instead of later, because I would then forget about all the steps that I took and blurred them into stuff that I'm doing now that from when I was stuck, I remember I would watch tons of content and sort of realize that none of the stuff that they were saying really helped me. And yes, every situation and person has a slightly different solution. Everything's a little bit more subjective to your experience because everyone's a bit different. But I kind of wanted to share what worked for me right now. Other than the usual baseline things that can really help you, even though they're very boring, it does make quite a difference. I'd say like 20%. I'd say getting regular sleep on time, exercising, drinking water, being somewhat healthy, all that stuff. You know, you've heard it all before. In college, when I had the biggest burnout out of everything in my entire life up to that point, the thing that really made it hard and a struggle, I believe it just came from feeling like I didn't know what to do and a combination of being sick with school and working for something that I don't know, it didn't have that much meaning to me to pass, and deadlines started to not mean anything, and that was a really terrible time because I pretty much had to, it felt like dragging two plates every day, just getting out of bed and just even rolling to the side and standing up. It was just hard, and showing up was really hard. So honestly, it wasn't until my last year, which is really embarrassing to say, that I started to sort of shift my thinking about it, and instead of it being like this just dead weight thing I had to go to and something to just really struggle that I didn't want to, I could sort of see the finish line at that point and be like, okay, I can graduate. I just really need to hunker down and do it. Like, I see the finish line. It's the fact that I was right there that gave me enough to push me over the edge to finish. And I'll admit it wasn't pretty. Like, this is not the way to do it if you want like a 4.0 GPA and just this really good student. Like, at this point I was just looking to survive. And being able to see the finish line and thinking like, I'm going to get this paper and statistically I will be in a much better place if I just hunker down and get it done now instead of later. That helped me a lot, and also allowing to forgive myself when I wasn't perfect, because I did have ADHD. At this point, I knew what it was and had been trying medications too. And admittedly, I was on and off Adderall for a bit, but the dose was too high and it gave me a lot more anxiety than it helped, so I had to stop. But on certain days, I would take it where like I was struggling really badly and needed something to get push me through. So yeah, maybe you can add Adderall in there into the equation. But honestly, it was my last step I took into trying to fix my ADHD. Like, I'd done therapy, I'd done try to do calendars, but everything just felt so much like a chore, and I was on top of just being burnt out. It was just a recipe to just be immobile. I wanted to say that with full transparency, and right now I'm not taking it, and it has been hard, but after being done with school and having to study and exams and stuff, I was so relieved and felt like I can actually, like, maybe have a higher stake in the adult world. I don't know. I think I was just done with school at this point. But yeah, I'd say those things really helped me, and then admittedly after graduating, I was still stuck in this perpetual cycle of doing nothing. And the next thing, which was also really hard because the current job market sucks, was getting a job that gave me some structure and allowed me to have enough weight and fear of, like, oh, I can't fuck this up, to stick to like a structural routine of actually getting up at a certain point of the day and then leaving the certain point of the day, and then understanding, like, this is going to be my life, and if I don't like it, then I need to do something outside of those hours to develop my skills and grow as a person. And if I do, then I don't, and I stay there and have a decent routine and make sure I'm exercising and taking care of myself in that regards. I'm currently at a place where I'm like, I don't think this job is right for me. You know, I'm at the stage of exploring different careers and in industries that I was interested in, had like an inkling about, and I really believe this is kind of the exploratory phase of life, and I just need to try out a bunch of things and sort of realize, like, finance is just not for me. And maybe it's just because the organization I'm with that's kind of making me feel burnt out again, and another fear of mine that I'm going to get back into the cycle, but that's a thing for another day. But yeah, it allowed me to get an answer and close this chapter and be like, okay, it's time to develop more skills and go into something like cybersecurity is going to be my next thing. I gotta be careful not to jump too hastily into different things, or else, like, maybe I'm not giving it enough time to really enjoy it and understand it. But I'm very confident that cybersecurity could be something for me. I just gotta learn all the technical stuff. But yeah, those are the two things I would say if I would have to make a summary about this video that really helped me get out of that rut. Was A, not being depressed about school and getting burnt out with that. B, having a closer goal in the frame of, like, oh, I can see the finish line. And 3 and 4, a little bit of Adderall here, and a job, which I know in the current job climate is not the best right now. But that's what worked for me. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what worked for you guys if you had similar experiences. Thank you if you made it this far into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.